Test 1, 2. Go ahead and get started. Thank you for making it, for the folks who did, and we'll go ahead and stand for the pledge and the prayer. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Father, we pause just to acknowledge you and give you thanks. Thank you for being a loving God and watching over our school. We ask that you'll guide us in doing the business of the school this evening, and that you'll be with the administrators, the teachers, the students. We just ask for protection and guidance for all those in our district. And again, we ask for your guidance in our business this evening. And we ask this in your son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, well, thank you for making it tonight. First thing we'll go through is the minutes, and I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the June 8th, 2026 school board meeting.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Okay. And as far as special presentations, I don't think we have any this evening, but we do have a report for teacher evaluation numbers.
Yes. So state statute says that each summer before August that the board would be presented with our teacher evaluation numbers. And so I have that information for you. One thing I did want to make the board aware of is that last summer, the law changed on the evaluation criteria. So previously we had to have 4 categories: highly effective, effective, needs improvement, and ineffective. Those went away last summer. So our evaluation committee met in the fall and decided to simplify that to effective and needs improvement, 2 categories. But they also raised the standard of what effective was. So it went from a 2.5 to a 2.75. So it made that effective bar a little bit higher, but got rid of those 2 extreme categories because we never had anybody in the ineffective, and the highly effective and effective was always kind of a fine line anyway. So saying that, I wondered if we even needed to do this anymore because it was based on the old system. Well, statute has not changed as far as presenting you with this information. So it's very simple, but I'll go over it with you quickly. So for 25-26, and this is also preliminary, when we get our school-wide letter grade, that will be added to this evaluation score. I don't think anyone's going to change, but it is preliminary. Granville Wells had 22 effective teachers, 2 needs improvement, and 1 that was not rated. Thorntown is 23 effective, 1 needs improvement, 0 not rated. And Western Boone Junior Senior High School is 48 effective, 0 needs improvement, and 0 not rated. So the corporation breakdown was 93 effective, 3 needs improvement, and 1 not rated. And that was because that teacher did not work 120 days to get an evaluation. And so that is we're meeting the statutory requirement by providing you with this information. I will say that the 3 needs improvement teachers just coincidentally are not with us for the 26-27 school year. So are there any questions about the teacher evaluation data?
Remind me again, Kyle, how does that break down then when we're going to do the stipend or the?
It's no longer a factor in the teacher appreciation grant.
Okay.
So it used to be where you had to give the highly effective more than the effective. Well, the state completely changed that, did away with all that. So it's part of the reason for us not needing those 2 categories any longer, because it doesn't matter financially to the teachers.
Okay.
So.
And those ratings are done by the building administrator.
Right.
And
The building, it's primarily based on a rubric, effectiveness rubric, and then the school-wide letter grade will be 10% of their final score. So based on the school letter grade that we're waiting this fall to finalize this. We haven't had one, I don't think, in 7 years. Haven't had a letter grade. We're supposed to get one this fall. So
that was one of the things I used to talk about, how people could put banners at their schools about we're got whatever, blue ribbon or however many stars or letter grade. And then that goes away when the state stops providing those ratings,
right.
But they don't communicate that to the general public who wonders, well, that used to be a pretty good school, but I don't see anything being updated because in 2022, they got a blue ribbon, but they haven't gotten anything since.
Yeah.
The
So
optics.
we will see how those letter grades come in and finalize those when they do. But I think this had to be presented to you all by August 15th, and we had done it in July last summer. So,
Great.
all right.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So next we got action items and personnel.
Yes, we have.
Do you have the report from the shop?
We're gonna punt that until next month. Thank you for asking. I'm not skipping her on purpose.
It's always,
Not on accident. Yeah.
it's always good to catch me
Yeah.
too.
She said she's
I
bringing
appreciate
dessert
that.
next month.
Yes.
Something to look forward to.
Yes. Personnel.
Yep.
The building administrators have given us a list of personnel that was in your board packet, and my recommendation is that you approve the personnel as presented.
Do we have any questions on that? Hearing none, we've got a recommendation for the personnel to be approved. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Adam.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor?
The next, down into the business item, is a resolution to reallocate the supplemental homestead credit. The homestead credit is something that's new this year, being provided to the taxpayers for taxpayer relief. It's part of Senate Enrolled Act 1, which we've heard a lot about. So every homeowner that pays property tax is getting a $300 credit on their tax bill this year. Well, what that means is the taxing entities are going to have to lose that money, give up that money, right? So our loss is estimated to be about $410,000 this year in funding. And we are allowed by the legislators and by the DLGF to take some of that $410,000, and so that operations doesn't take the full hit, we can spread some of it out to debt service. And they've allowed schools to do that this year, and that's what we want to do, because if we lose it in operations, we never get it back. And so what this resolution is basically the board giving us permission to transfer the portion of that $410,000, which I'll just read it to you, is $228,235.45. So we can transfer that out of debt service to operations to spread that loss. So that's what the resolution is, and it's my recommendation that you approve it.
Thank you. We have that recommendation. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Melissa.
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. All those in favor? Thanks. And next are the contracted hours for teaching staff.
Yes. So House Bill 1004, which went into effect July 1st, was a deregulation bill that was supposed to alleviate some of the many regulations that schools have. Part of that was contract requirements for teachers, and what it essentially says is that we no longer can have the number of hours a teacher work on their contract. So in the past, their one-page paper contract that they would sign had the number of hours they're required to work, and that can no longer be on their contract. So the Indiana School Boards Association recommended that school board approve a standard teacher number of hours in a workday. And so what I've done is just drafted up a memo that is basically kind of our similar to our past practice. One thing that we talked about last year that we are implementing this year, and the principals and the teachers are aware of it, is a 7.5 hour work day and a 30-minute duty-free period, which is their lunch. So a total of an 8 hour standard work day. And so the School Board Association said, we recommend that your board just approve the contract hours for your teachers. It's not a board policy, but that way teachers know that the principals aren't going to say work a 10-hour day, and the principals know that the teachers are going to be here for that 8 hours. So I'm recommending that you approve that sign duties for teachers shall not exceed 7.5 hours per day, and they would also get a 30-minute duty-free lunch each day as presented.
Is that in line with expectations currently?
Yes. So previously, I will say previously it had been 7.25 hours
That's what I remember.
on this, and then a 30-minute lunch. Last year, before we even knew about this, we had decided, Mr. Ramey, the principals had decided a 7.5 hour day was what we would go with this year. So that had already been done with discussions with the Teachers Association, and all that ball was in motion. Then this new law is kind of like, well, now you're just going to approve it so that teachers know what the expectations are, administrators know what the expectations are. And there's still some flexibility, obviously, with, parent-teacher conferences and faculty meetings and staff meetings and that type of thing. But this is like just what's the standard work day, and now everybody's going to be on the same page. So,
Any other questions? We have a recommendation to approve the contracted hours for the teaching staff. Is there a motion?
so move.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? And next is the contract between Mental Health of America, Boone County, and the school.
Yes, this program has been in effect in our schools for many years. We formerly referred to it as BASE. It's a before and after school program. Pascal Fettig is still the director of this program. This contract mimics exactly what it has been for years. It's the same contract, but we're basically giving them permission to use our facilities to provide after-school program. They will carry insurance properly, provide the service for our families, and in return, we won't charge them for the space.
It's fair because we want to, for folks who want or need those services, we want them to be geographically convenient. So
It's very convenient, and they do a nice job, and they're great to work with. So
so we have the contract between Mental Health of America of Boone County and the school, and a recommendation to approve that annual renewal. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dennis.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor? And next is the blind and low vision.
yes, so this is a memorandum of understanding. When when our joint services dissolved and we took that in-house, we still needed blind, low vision, deaf, hard of hearing instruction. And so we have partnered with the Clinton County Joint Services to share a person who provides those services again. So this is the same MOU that we did last year for that teacher to provide those services for us. And so it's the same as last year, but it's a new MOU with Clinton County Joint Services for this year.
Are we expecting that to be the same person who did it last year?
Yes.
Okay, so that's good for the consistency.
It's very good. And she does a great job.
That's great. Any other questions? We have a recommendation to approve that MOU. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Melissa. All those in favor? Next is the speech language contractor agreement.
Yes, and I'll put Madeline on the spot a little bit, but Madeline has worked on this. We've needed a speech instructor part-time. We have posted it. Our hope was to hire our own teacher, and we did not have any success or luck getting any applicants to do that. So Madeline has vetted this, interviewed. She's even negotiated us a better price. And so I'm recommending that the board approve this agreement for speech services for 2 days a week, Madeline?
Yes, 2 days a week, just at the high school. So the numbers, we just have a population of students who are moving up from the elementaries that still have those language needs. And the caseload was just getting too large for Bethany and Thorntown to cover both buildings. So it just made sense to get a person just dedicated to that school.
Thanks for your work on that.
Sure.
Are there any other questions? If there are not, we have a recommendation that the board approve or the contract for the speech language contract agreement. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian.
Second.
Thank you, Phil. All those in favor? And next are the handbook revisions for 2026, 2027.
Yes, and this is only, I believe that Mrs. Stanley from Granville Wells had already done her handbook revisions. This is one addition, and it's about the cell phone policy only. So she just wanted to make sure that she's adding that now that they've kind of figured out how they're going to handle that policy, that I'm getting the board to approve that the cell phone portion based on the new law in their handbook.
Have we had very many calls or conversations about that in law yet? From parents?
We have not in this office. I don't know. I haven't heard from the building, so knock on wood. So
I
far,
would
so
assume
good.
that building would be the only one we would hear from, but.
Yeah, I have. If there have been, they haven't reported it to me at this point. So
I've had a few just with parents that asked if I'm like, it's out of our control.
Right.
It was, mandated by the state, so it's just our job to enforce it. So,
and it's a mixed. I think it's kind of a mixed feeling.
Yeah.
I think
I would say so.
some people are like, yes,
Yeah.
it's great, and others are not as excited.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, we don't get to pick and
No.
choose which things that we want to do from the state.
Right.
So we've got the handbook revisions that were submitted from Mrs. Stanley for the Granville Wells student handbook. Is there a motion to approve those revisions?
So moved.
Thank you, Adam. Wait. Thank you, Melissa. All those in favor? Okay. And next are the school lunch prices.
We have the next 4 items are from Michelle. So Michelle, I'll just let you start out with school lunch prices.
So, student prices will remain the same this year. However, while I was going through my audit last year, it was highly recommended and is best practice to also raise the adult price to match my student price. Has to write $1 more, so I have to raise it a quarter, which is still a really good deal. So it is being raised a quarter this year, but
So what is that price, Michelle?
$3.75.
Yeah.
Still a great deal.
It was like you could get breakfast and lunch for like $6.25 altogether, right?
Still a really great deal.
You don't have to fix it. You don't have to clean it up.
Well, I've eaten enough meals from that cafeteria to know now that that's better than any meal you're going to get at a restaurant, fast food or whatever. So, that's.
Yeah, I try to keep the same as long as possible.
And I will just say, for the board's benefit and for the benefit of anyone who may watch online, is we decided together as a team that for the credit card processing this year, we were going to have to add a fee because she's been just absorbing those fees, and there's a per transaction fee that she incurs and a percentage of that per transaction. So, if a student put $2 in their lunch account on a debit card, we were getting hammered with the transaction fee every time. So we made the difficult decision to start charging $1 for credit card transactions online. But we'll still gladly take cash or check for no fee. So
I mean, if we continue with my school bus, we'd be up to probably $4 this year.
Right.
So I still think
it is a convenience, and we hated to do it, but it allowed her to keep her lunch prices for students the same. So it was a valid trade-off.
So we've got a recommendation on the school lunch prices for 2026, 2027. Then is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Brian.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor? Great. The next is the food service procurement plan.
so. I believe it was in October. I had rewritten this by hand and had you approve it then. The state has now decided to give us a template to follow. So it's basically the same thing, just in their format with our numbers and information. So kind of just a formality to get in. So I'll just update it every year from now on their template.
Yep. Thank you. So we've got a recommendation for that procurement plan that was provided with their template. Any questions with that? Would anyone care to make a motion to approve it? Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Melissa. All those in favor? Thank you. And next there's the Child Nutrition Program Procurement Plan. There's that slow. Same thing, just one high school, yeah. So do we have a motion to approve that one as well?
So moved.
Thank you, Melissa.
Second.
Thank you, Greg. All those in favor? And the fourth is the food service staff retention bonus.
This, we did decide to make a small change to this year in an effort to, you know, through many conversations with my staff. We were doing the $1,000 bonus at summer. We're splitting it 500 winter break, 500 summer break. And it was a consensus with my staff. And I feel like it's gonna help with some of the staffing as well, attracting staff, keeping staff.
That's great. I think we're all for being creative to try and keep our folks that
Yes,
help keep the process and supporting the students.
yes.
Any questions with that? If not, we have a recommendation for that the board approve the food service staff retention bonus for the 2026-2027 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Dennis.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? Okay, next is the non-resident student.
Yes, we just have one, Nolan Stone, Thorntown, for kindergarten for the upcoming school year. So recommend that you approve Nolan.
We have a recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Adam.
Second.
Thank you, Brian. All those in favor? And claims are next.
Yes, so there are a few claims wanted to point out. There was a check for 098041 for VIG Solutions for $20,965. And that was to purchase 35 Dell refurbished desktops, and that came from the operation fund. There was a wire and ACH for Granger Industrial Equipment for $4,295 for a sewage ejector pump. And then there is also another ACH wire for Michael's Pro Painting for $4,585 for paint and wallpaper in the admin office. And then the debt payments were paid in June for the bonds.
Thank you. Any questions on the claims? If there are not, I would entertain a motion to approve the claims for the June 8th through July 20th, then as submitted.
So moved.
Thank you, Melissa.
Second.
Thank you, Adam. All those in favor? Okay. And monthly financial reports.
Yes, so at the end of June, the education fund cash balance was $5,643,110. The expenditures from the education fund at the end of for June was $878,986, and that was 43% of the appropriation that was spent through June. For the operation fund, the cash balance was $4,128,024. The expenditures in June out of the operation fund were $433,040, and that was 45% of the appropriations through June. The investments to date for the Home National Bank, it's $74,000, $793.10. For North Salem State Bank, it's $18,031.79. For Trust Indiana, it's $141,822,000. And for Key Bank, it is $8,001.84 for the interest to date.
Thank you. Next is the 2027 budget workshop presentation.
Yes, and I will just say, I appreciate Becky coming on board and jumping in. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind around here, And so, but she's just, she's taken it and run with it, and I really appreciate it. So I am gonna turn it over to her.
So I did use a lot of the things Kyle had, not reinventing the wheel, and keeping the presentation the same. So the first there is our timeline. Today, obviously, we're talking about this presentation. And the next board meeting, we will request to advertise for the budget, the capital projects plan, and the bus replacement plan. By August 14th, we'll then need to have all that up on Gateway and posted to our website. The September board meeting will be the public hearing on the proposed 2027 budget, the capital project plan, and the bus replacement plan. And then October, we'll ask the board to adopt the proposed budget. And then we will be spending our time filling out the forms and getting them all up on Gateway, and then checking our 1782 notice to ensure it is completely correct by December 31st. So that's kind of the timeline of what we'll be doing from now until the end of the year to get the budget up and going for next year. When doing the budget, we have the education fund. One note change, we did do the education fund. The curriculum material is part of the basic grant now. So we're actually, in a roundabout way, getting less money from the state. Because prior, you had the curriculum material money and the state basic grant. So we actually reduced the cost in that basic grant because that curriculum material is coming out of that. So to balance the budget, we had to use more of the cash to balance it out with our preliminary budget allocations. So that is a little bit different. So if you look at last year's versus this year's preliminary presentation, it is a lesser amount, and that is why. When we go to the operation fund, one of the big changes in the operation fund for next year is the excise tax. We cannot put any excise tax in the debt service fund, so it'll all go to the operations fund. So if you look at the excise tax, it increases it greatly in that. When we are looking at our local property tax, we use the assessed value from last year because we do not have the any of the 26, 27 numbers for assessed value. So this is all very preliminary. We also use the 6% for the max levy growth quotient that increased this year. So those are the numbers we use to try to determine kind of what our property tax is going to look like. But this is all based on the last assessed value. So again, these are just preliminary numbers that we're trying to put together to figure out what money we're going to have this year and where it's going to go for allocations. Our debt service fund, again, like the operation, you'll see there's zero right there for excise tax, which I think last year was around $250,000. So that is a change that goes to operations this year. And then you see we have the debts that we have outstanding right now that we're paying per month or per year. And again, preliminary, all based off of last year's assessed values. So here is the 2026 assessed value and the debt service fund and the operations fund. So the assessed value for 2026 was $1,068,767,849. And that was 0.5082 was for the debt service fund to give us the amount that would go in there. The rate overall did raise just slightly from 0.8988 to 0.9130 for the tax rate. But as you can see, the total tax rate over the years really has stayed pretty flat. It's decreased a little bit, basically flat, and the assessed value has gone up quite a bit. And then if we just compare to other schools, so this one is a comparison of 2022 to 2026 school tax rates kind of around, just to show where we're kind of at compared. So if you see that, Western Boone does do a very good job of keeping a lower tax rate and compared to other schools and keeping it steady for the public. And this is just the 2026 school tax rates alone and the schools around of how they are. Does anyone have any questions? And again, these are just preliminary numbers that we have tried to put together to start our budgeting and see where we're kind of at.
Any guesses on the assessed value this year?
I don't know. I think we're planning on a flat, that it stays the same, but I'm really curious to see
Yeah.
what happens.
I know based off of my taxes, I'd expect it to be up, so our assessed value on stuff, so.
So we haven't been given any indication yet. And last year wasn't until like late September
Right,
when we
I remember
ended up getting it. So we'll build the budget based on, conservative estimates.
It was October before we finally got a hard number, wasn't it?
Right. It was either very end of September or October, so. Well, thank you, Becky, for
Thank you.
jumping in and going right at it. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next category is other.
Yes, there was just one personnel change, and this time of year, it's kind of surprising that we only had one, but,
Bring your mojo
I
there.
probably just did. Mrs. Hayden sent a recommendation that we put under the category of other for Laura Bragg to be the new third grade teacher effective for the 26-27 school year. And so I would recommend that you approve her.
We have a recommendation. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Adam. I heard it out of this here first. All those in favor? Okay. And announcements?
Yes, I have a few announcements to mention. Summer registration is open. And so just wanted to let the board know Friday that we opened registration. I will say we would like to get those done as soon as possible. It really helps Lisa and transportation to know to get those kids routed properly. So we put a cutoff of July 29th. If you want transportation, get that form filled out before July 29th. The all-staff luncheon is Monday, August 3rd at 11:30 a.m. Board members are all invited. We'd love to have you join us if you can, but that's Monday, August 3rd at 11:30. Elementary Meet the Teacher Night is that same day, August 3rd from 5:30 to 7. It is open house style, so stop in as you are able. Seventh grade orientation is also Monday the 3rd, and it is starting at 6 o'clock. Mr. Miller will be sending out email here in the next few days to the seventh grade parents. I know seventh graders are antsy to get over there, and but that'll start at 6 o'clock on the 3rd. The athletic parent meeting is Tuesday, August 4th at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. And the first day of school is Wednesday, August the 5th. So it'll be here very soon. Our next board meeting is Monday, August 10th at 7 p.m. And those were the announcements.
Get on your calendar for the August 8th alumni game, girls soccer alumni
I'm
game.
sorry. Please add that to the announcements. August 8th. All right.
Greg, we'd like to have your daughter back play. You can convince her to come out.
I'm sure she'd come out.
All right.
What time is that, Shane?
That'll be 9 a.m. with food to follow. We do a good pitch in afterwards. Very nice. Yeah. Anything else for the good of the cause tonight? I'll just throw out the pavement was very smooth coming in today, Dennis. It looks really nice,
Yeah, the whole parking lot looks nice.
except I was a little late in finding the speed bump. It wasn't bad, but I'm like,
You didn't get airborne.
caught me a little off target. Yeah. No hang time.
No insurance claim?
No hang time. Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Phil. All those in favor? Okay. All right. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your month. Yeah.
Done by law.